Hello everyone! Team Sapphire will be presenting their levels with commentary. Please enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Coleman and I made the first level in this adventure game. Leaving the campsite, we enter a cave that brings us up towards where my level begins. The cave formed from a collapse of the nearby mountains, so some gaps remain, letting light pass through. I wanted to go with an outdoor, sitting in the mountains aesthetic. As we leave the cave, we arrive at the first area. A large campfire burns not far away as the trees and wall act as leading lines to lead us towards where the first ledge grab is. Heading up, we can see more of the mountains surrounding the level and another campsite between overturned barrels. Off in the distance are a few large statues as a testament to the people that once lived in this area. These serve as landmarks to guide the player, as and serve as a beacon for where they should go. Most of these buildings are made from bricks, using the rocks and clay from the surrounding mountains. Climbing the top of these buildings gets us over towards the drawbridge, and with a quick push of the barrel on the button waiting below, that lets our squeaky drawbridge drop to let us go forward. There are several plazas with plants throughout the level, a small sign of life in these ruins. Only a scant few objects remain. Barely any survived the harsh weather, and most of what remained was scavenged by other travelers. A nearby waterfall helps fill out the scene, adding some sound beyond the steps on the ground, the crackle of a campfire when we're near one, or the wind as it blows through this valley. I wanted to use the environment to tell a story. Locked doors on these old buildings prevent entry, some walkways shattered and leaving only half the path remaining. The environment is mostly dirt and gravel. The buildings that remain, what they are made of, how it was all laid out, all of it provides small tidbits of information a player might pick up on to get a sense for how the level ended up as it is. Stepping on this button causes some movement, another bridge that extends over a gap. It's been quite some time since someone kept the trees in check on this path, and pressing this button raises the platform, letting us continue. If the player misses any of these jumps, a respawn zone waits below to set their location back to an earlier area where they can try again. There are several different reset points depending on which jump the player missed. They are at the start of the level, the midway checkpoint, and the small pool before the rising platform. Up ahead is another campfire, further telling the silent story of travelers that came through here before. And passing this building leads us down towards the central road, a passageway that connects this area to the facility further in. Up ahead is the end of my level, a small house and a treasure chest with a map of the next level. I'll pass the mic now over to Isaiah Barlow, who made the next level.
Thanks, Jeff. So my level has gone through many iterations. Once it was a ruined city, now it is a secret facility. And as you can see around the perimeter here, there's fences to keep the player in the play space. I've designed this road to help guide the path of the player towards my intended play space. So that should help players navigate the level. As you can see, we just passed the first ledge grab. And there's another one coming up here. This is to introduce the ledge grab mechanic in my level. And right here we're introducing the pressure pad mechanic. So pressure pads will trigger an event, and that event will lead to like a door opening, platforms moving, etc. And the player will find out what they do as they press it. That's why I've also installed cinematics such as that to make it clear to the player what the pressure pad is triggering. Now we'll do some simple platforming, get up here. A good thing to note is that the door is closing behind him. And that will act as both a gate and a valve in the levels to keep the player from backtracking and to allow the player to progress after they've completed the trigger. As you can see, there's another cutscene. The player cannot move during that sequence as well, so there's no threat of them accidentally walking off a cliff or having any issues with the camera movement. Alright, as you can see, the door closed. This is where I introduced the moving platforms. These will be used to act as gates as well, but these are more interesting than just, the doors. They'll act as a puzzle right here. They'll be used in a puzzle right here, rather. It's a very interesting way to manipulate Adventure's core mechanics, because ledge grabbing is key to the gameplay principles that we had to develop. This is a little puzzle. Now, the proper combination is either 2-3 or 3-2 to get it guaranteed. This took a long time to develop to make them responsive and at just the right height for the player to jump. Alright, we'll have a very simple jump to make right here. Nice. The barrels have been sprinkled throughout this level. When you see barrels, you should think jump, so he's jumping on them. He notices there's a door locked, and there's an extra pressure pad. So the player will naturally try and discover what this pressure pad will do. Now, after you trigger the pressure pad, I made sure to add this platform to ease in the progression of my level. And I'll reward the player at the end with a nice view. Now, after the view, it's time to get out of here. So we go to the elevator. Now, the elevator has taken some time to get the feedback just right. I decided to put a camera in the shaft to make it really clear, and I also added sounds so that it's really obvious that you are descending in an elevator. And that's my level. Alright, I'll hand it off to Jay now, so he can show you his level.
Thank you, Isaiah. Hello, everyone. My name is Javier Montes, but you can call me Jay. And this is my level, Building Escape. For my level, I wanted to give a destroyed building look. You can see a hole in the wall and aged trees with moss hanging from them. This is my first building, the office building. And as you can see, we seem to start off in an underground storage room, but that has water all over the floor. I wanted to introduce the jump and climb mechanic as early as possible to get the player comfortable with the mechanics. As you can see, the storage room is filled with many metal bins that the player must navigate through. And you can hear water coming from somewhere. As we progress, we will approach the source. And as we walk away, the sound of the water falling fades. You may have noticed I placed wooden planks throughout the level to act as leading lines to help guide the player on where to go. Doors with dulled textures are uninteractable. This is a vent leading to the next area and also acts as a valve as a player cannot go back up. We drop into an office room and then out into the hallway, which leads to a reception room that has had its floor destroyed. I placed at least one key and locked door in every building, which act as a gate for the player. As we continue through the level, we also find the source of the incoming water. We continue to travel up into the building and discover more of it has been destroyed. And we come across our first locked door. I designed each room with unique layouts to provide spatial identity to each area. I included ledges that fall to add some excitement to the level, and the length of the jump proves mastery of the mechanics without a safety net. I also included repositioned collision zones just in case the player were to fall off any part of the building. You may also notice I added wind sound effects for ambience, and the top of the roof acts as a place of refuge for the player. This jump acts as a valve as a player cannot go back from this point. On my second building, I actually had two entrances, one being the gray grab bar, and the second the open window just below it, just in case the player could not make the jump. And as you can see, the player is struggling a little bit to locate the key, but that's okay. After unlocking the door, it drops down to the bottom floor. Both paths lead to the main room, which have two science tubes in it. Climbing back up into the first floor of the building shows more rubble and destruction. The collapsed floor acts as a leading line to the outside of the building. You can see I decorated the surrounding area with cliffs and greenery, which give a remote or isolated feel to the environment. Another room that has collapsed ceiling and a spotlight to guide the player. The player must locate and collect the next key. While on this roof, the player has made it to the second place of refuge and has the areas that have the collapsed ceilings are visible to the player. The final jump into my building acts as another valve. The bedroom layout further provides spatial identity to this area. After unlocking the last door, the player has made it to the most destroyed part of the building and climbs their way up and out to refuge to complete my level. And that's my level. Thank you for your time. I now introduce my teammate Richie and his commentary of his level.
Thank you, Jay. As you said, my name is Richie Arellano, and this is my level, Island Adventure, where the player is going to have to solve puzzles, kind of like a misdirection type of deal. And as you can see here, the player comes to the first door and needs a key. I kind of play this throughout the level where the character or the player has to figure out little things here and there to progress further in the level. My thought process was a deserted island surrounded by a storm. You'll see palm trees with weeds on it, you'll hear water, wind, and you have to make it through this secluded area to get to the lodge. I use a lot of limited lighting to represent like that dark, stormy weather. So the player is following this path of torches, kind of guiding them to the next area, or at least to the top of the tower, where they're going to have to make a kind of like leap of faith or a jump. So as we come to the top, you're going to see this door with a big red bright light. And once we get through that door, the player is going to be led to this pressure pad. And as they get on there, nothing happens. Again, misdirection. So they look around and notice that there's another pad behind them that opens this door to a bridge as leap of faith. Now, what the player is looking at is pretty much the surrounding area, showing the mountains, the trees, this islandy area of adventure. And you can hear kind of like the ambience of the wind. Now they have to make the jump. And they made it. And next to them is a key. Now, if the player missed that jump, there is respawns where the player would be put back at the other side of the bridge to make this. And if the player missed that key, they'd have to go back up the stairs to open this door here, kind of giving a visual of the end of my level where you see this luscious green area, water sounds, and you get to enter the lodge. And this is the end of my level. This is the end of all our levels, so thank you for watching. This is Team Sapphire. Thank you.